We still don't know the full impact of Trump's tariffs on American businesses, but the damage is already done for some. My next guest, a small business owner who heard about the sweeping changes coming at midnight and decided to close up shop. Joining me now is Henrik Svensson, the owner of My Home Contemporary Furniture. Thank you so much for being with us. And I can't imagine that this was an easy choice. When did you make your decision, and was there kind of a final last straw?
I made the decision 6 weeks ago when the extra 20% tariffs was imposed on China. We already paid 25% on China at that point, so I could see the writing on the wall with what just happened last week. So we can't operate a business not knowing what our prices are going to be when we landed here.
I mean, for a lot of folks who aren't in business, you stand back and you say, you managed to survive a global pandemic. What's different this time?
What's different this time is we don't know. Like yesterday, the tariffs from China was 54%. It looks like tomorrow containers that I will receive, I will have to pay 104%. You can't plan a business like that.
You plan to close, I understand, by August. Talk about your employees, the impact on them, what they're telling you, what this means.
I mean, they would have to go and find another job. It's a small business. We have 10 employees here. At least for myself, I have another business where I make furniture and sell to other retailers. That will be impacted too because I make it in China and Mexico. But my other employees that I have here, they will have to go and find another job.
And is there nothing, I mean, there are no alternatives, domestic alternatives, places that could manufacture furniture for you or places you can source furniture?
Furniture manufacturing is never going to come back to the U.S. That was lost in the 80s and 90s. Even the big American manufacturers, they import most of their furniture from Vietnam and China and Malaysia and all over the world now.
If you had the ear of the president and his economic team, what would you want them to know?
I mean, I think when it comes to tariffs, maybe tariffs should have been negotiated before they were announced instead of announcing something and then you try to negotiate afterwards. I don't think we would be in this situation right now had it been handled right.
Henrik Svensson, thank you for telling your story, and we wish you and your employees well. I want to bring in Jason Furman, a professor at the Harvard Kennedy School and former chair of the Council of Economic Advisors under President Obama. So you heard it, Henrik, one of countless, I think, small business owners who are facing these kinds of decisions. Just take a listen.
I need to go back to China and talk with my supplier if I could get a discount. Groceries, the jewelry shops and the clothing, gift shop like us, and we all feel the pain.
I have no idea in this moment how bad will hurt.
So I have customers who are canceling orders now. We'll reduce our employment. I guess I'm fighting in a trade war.
We talk often about how small business is the big driver of the U.S. economy. But by nature, Jason, do they often have a smaller margin to adapt, particularly if, like Henrik, they source products internationally?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And these are really early days. The full set of tariffs just go into effect at midnight tonight. So if they stay in effect, you're just going to see more and more and more of these types of stories. The fact is almost no American business is 100% American. They're using foreign parts. They're selling something foreign. They're selling something to people in other countries. All of those businesses depend on the rest of the world in some way.
Yeah, my local coffee shop where they're able to offer a lower price. It's a big driver for them of getting people in the door versus, the big chains. Now they're wondering how they can keep up. Talk about the ripple effect when you have small businesses closing, the impact on their communities, on downtowns and on employment, whether it's 10 employees or 50 employees.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, coffee is a great example. We just put a tariff on coffee. We barely make coffee in the United States. They make a little bit in Hawaii, but not close to enough for the amount that all of us drink in the United States. And to what end did we do that tariff? It's just making the coffee we drink more expensive. It's going to drive some small coffee businesses out of business. And we're not trying to build a big coffee growing industry here in the United States. We just don't have the weather for it. So this is very, very poorly thought out set of tariffs.
We should note that we have heard some positive reaction from business owners, including the U.S. shrimp industry. They tell NBC News they've been hurt by imports. They think tariffs will give them a better chance of actually growing their business, even staying in business. But from a policy angle, is there a more targeted way to impose tariffs to help industries that need it without hurting a wider swath of businesses at the same time?
Look, everything in this space definitely has winners and losers. The tariffs we're doing now have some winners, but lots and lots of losers. If you're a family that drinks coffee, eats bananas, buys cars, you're probably going to lose because all of those are going up in price. In terms of something more targeted, I would focus less on trying to use tariffs and more on what can we do to invest in America and make America stronger and better. Our problems are largely not caused by other countries. They're caused by choices we make here in the United States, things that we can control. All of this is a distraction from that real work.
Yeah, I mean, I think there has been a lot of talk about how we can change tariff policy, but now you're talking about tools that lawmakers, that administrations could use that could have an impact. But do you see any way that something happens between now and the time that places like Henrik's Furniture Store are going to have to close up shop?
Look, it's extremely hard to predict what the president's going to do. And that's part of the problem here. One person shouldn't be able to make these choices. This is something that should go through Congress like almost every other tax. This is the only tax that the president is allowed to raise all on his own without having to go through Congress. But this depends on him. The tariffs might go even higher. That's what he's said. The tariffs might go even lower. There might be, some countries up, some countries down. We'll see. But that uncertainty itself, as the small business owners highlighted, is part of why he's closing. If he knew exactly what was going to happen, it would be easier. We just don't know.
Jason Furman, it's always good to have you on the program. Thank you.